Hello, everyone, and welcome to Authentic You. I'm SeaJay Leapshire, the co-lead pastor of Jesus Culture Sacramento, and I'm here with
Erika Myberg. I'm Jesus Culture's operations pastor.
And I'm Deborah Giles, the co-director of Jesus Culture School of Leadership with my husband, Daniel. If you'd like to learn more, please visit jcsl.online.
And they're killing it. It's their first year at JCSL, and it's been so good. Such good feedback. But you guys, we are so excited for you to hear this conversation today. It's going to be good. It's just the three of us. So this is where things can get a little wild. So be prepared. Hello, and welcome to the Authentic You podcast. Guys, we are doing a new thing. This is season 1. And we have a new co-host. So faithfully, it's me and Erika sitting here talking nonsense. And we brought Deborah Giles.
Okay, now.
To help bring some structure and actually some knowledge to us, really. I mean,
she's going to make us look smart.
She is. She just, she's more together in life, let's just be honest.
She wakes up really, really early.
I do.
That is the early worm and the bird thing. Yes, she gets the worm. Oh, it's the early bird and the worm.
Well, the way I feel like I know if somebody has their life together is if they do their hair, and her hair is always done.
But I only take pictures when it's done.
You don't think I do my hair?
No.
Okay.
Yours doesn't count. I mean, you do faithfully do your hair very well.
It's true.
But hers
all of
takes a
10
little bit
seconds,
longer
yes.
to do. So I'm always impressed with people that do their hair. And
That
you
is
do your
true.
hair so well.
I do. When I wear my hair up in a bun, my kids say I look mean. So I have to wear my hair down because they say I look mean. So, and then my hair is damaged enough to stay in the same position for days at a time because it just holds the curl.
That's
The more damage, the more
amazing.
curl
That
you'll
is
get.
so
So-
I work really hard to do that.
Right.
To not wash my hair for a few days to try.
Yeah. You got to fry it more. You got to just bleach
look like a wet mop. By the third day, it's like,
I'm like, CJ, when are you going to wash your hair again?
I'm like, it's cool, Erika. This is cool to look like a wet mop.
Let me get a napkin and just
I'm like,
press
why?
it on
And
the
blot
top.
it.
Yeah,
Why
blot
do
it a little bit.
I use faithfully dry shampoo to try to recover. It doesn't work.
No.
And yours is poofy, in a good way.
With product.
Mine becomes a flat,
Yeah.
So
But-
obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. As this is a problem here.
Yes, but I do know you do wash your hair at night, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. I wish I could do that. I can't wash my hair at night and
Why?
sleep on it because it's got some weird kinky curl weird thing to it, so I'd have to wet it again. So you do have the beauty of that, of being able to sleep with a wet head.
I actually was thinking about this, you guys. My granny used to get her hair done once a week.
Yes.
And it would be set, and then you're just done. Why don't we all get to do that?
I know.
I'm a
Mine
fan.
did it too. And she
Yes.
slept with a hairnet.
Yeah.
You go on a Saturday morning to get your hair done, and then it's a
Yes.
hairnet every night. And it looked totally fine
How did
during
it
the day.
stay? I mean, they didn't have dry shampoo, all those things.
No.
For a week. And I remember it so clearly because the day before she got her hair done, she would always swim underwater with me.
Oh.
So in her pool,
What a
she
good
would,
day.
yes. And which was, I only felt safe to swim underwater when Granny swam
Right.
underwater because then the sharks couldn't get me in her pool. If Granny was underwater with her head also.
Right.
So it was a very exciting day for me.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And it makes complete sense.
Fully.
To be safe from sharks if Granny's head is underwater.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is going to be fun, you guys. We are excited for this new format, and we are, going to be bringing you some really great guests, and we got some good things to say. So be prepared, be looking out. Welcome to season 1.
Here we go.
So I actually first, before we talk about anything serious, I wanted to share something. I have a real skill when it comes to Googling things.
Correct.
Yeah. So I can Google any health symptom and not scare myself.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I know how to properly Google.
She's
so that,
good. She is. Because if I,
Really?
my
Yeah.
kids, my family, anybody has any medical, I'm like, CJ, I don't want to read. Can you read up? And Dr. SeaJay, can you then let us know it's all okay? And she totally does.
I do. I know things.
There's too much
Really?
information
Well,
out there.
I confidently know things.
Okay.
And I could be confidently wrong, but they
Right.
don't need to know that.
No.
I have never been somebody that's come across bad things on the internet. Like, I know
Okay.
all these people are always like, oh my gosh, porn's everywhere. I'm like, it's never shown up for me, And I am the queen Googler. So, like, how
Right.
have I not done this? Well, I will say this. I did accidentally send a porn website to my father-in-law multiple times in a row.
What?
So when we were going to get Dash, my dog that I love so very much, he was in Minnesota and he had a website that you could go look at him. Well, I kept sending the wrong name to my father-in-law. Go look at this website. And he would never respond back to me. I'm like, click on blue number 5. And he would never respond back to me. And I thought, this is so weird. Like, my father-in-law loves to look at my dogs.
Right. Your father-in-law loves dogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he is going to think this is so amazing to see Dash as a puppy. Never responded. And so one day I did go click on the link I was sending him and found I was not sending him pictures of dogs. And what's even better is we've never talked about it.
He never mentioned it.
No, and I've never mentioned it either. It's like this secret in the family that we don't talk about the porn website I sent my father-in-law.
Oh my goodness.
I love that you kept bringing it up. You kept sending it to him.
I kept doing it. 'Cause
Right.
I'm like, rude. Look at my dog. Blue number 5.
Blue number 5.
Blue number 5 is my dog. Go look at him.
That's awesome.
Oh, Dashy.
But I was in my Googling gifting. Erika and I were driving to San Diego to see both of our kids live in San Diego. One of whatever I'm trying to say. We each have a kid that lives in San Diego.
No, both our kids.
Both our kids.
Both our kids.
Oh, wow.
We make this.
Is there something?
She talks like this all the time and gets us into trouble.
Yeah, is there something I
Like,
should
we're
know?
going to
kids.
see our kids. And then I'm like, wait, no, she has a kid. I have a kid.
I have a husband, she has a husband,
Yes.
and then she's the whole, short of giving them our social security numbers, because Missy just chats all the time. Yeah.
Anyway, on the side of the freeway, there are these 2 white domes that look like boobs sticking
Just
out.
as you hit San Diego, like
Okay.
somewhere between LA and San Diego.
Right
on
against the
right-hand
ocean.
side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm tired. It's been a long drive at this point. I'm like, what are those things? And I start to type into Google. 2 white boobs on the side of the freeway. No, that one I did not search. I caught myself from saying,
We talked about it for a few miles. I'm like, you cannot do that.
what are the 2 white boobs on the side of the freeway in San Diego?
Because the problem is once you type it in the algorithm, you're going to be served for the next 2 months, right? Like
White boobs.
White boobs.
But
On
what,
the way back, when I wasn't as tired, I did figure out how to Google it.
Oh, okay.
Without getting bad things. And it's part of the nuclear power
but
plant.
what is the words? They did talk about boobs, but not those words.
They called them boobs,
like
yeah.
bosom. There you go.
Oh,
bosom-like structures.
Yeah,
or
bosom-like
something on the
structure.
I like
side.
her accent with it. Boozing.
Bosom.
Okay. I feel completely harassed this morning.
Oh,
much
just
more
cuddle
medical.
into your bosom. You'll be fine. Or your bosom.
I have a tiny one. So
And there you go. That's a
let's
good
move
welcome
on.
into what we're going to be
We're happy
doing.
to
Right.
be here.
So today, ladies and the 4 men who listen, we are going to talk about comparison.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't struggle with comparison at all. I'm so confident at all times. Nothing ever bothers me. I'm like super unaffected. But you two, who are weaker than me, could probably
SeaJay
share.
is not a human.
Yeah.
Right.
She is
right.
a robot.
If we could
Yeah.
only be like SeaJay.
Yeah, just
Yes.
try to be like me. I mean, I wasn't worried at all about how I looked today.
Right.
I was like, I got this. I'm so pretty all
If
the time.
everybody could have seen our group text before we got here this morning, it was a mess.
It was.
I
I have nothing to wear.
Yeah.
I'm going to
No.
grow my hair. Whose idea was this?
What side angle should we be on? What's our best side?
My daughter did my makeup, and she's 25 and literally yelled at me the entire time. But I was like, I can't do my makeup. I don't know how to do my makeup. She's like, hold still, look up. Oh my gosh, what color are you? I'm like, I don't know.
I debated cutting bangs about an hour ago because I was like, I really don't know what's going to help right now in this moment. Cutting bangs might help, but I am old enough to know that will not help. So I'm just going to live with that.
We should try that for the next podcast. We should both cut bangs. And we could put a clippy of bangs on Erika.
We could.
Thank you.
That would
wear
work. I think your hair with bangs would be amazing.
Oh, I can't even.
That's all you have to do is grow out one line.
Let's talk about anxiety.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so if we're all honest, we all struggle with comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some level, it hits us all differently. What is the harder thing? It always amazes me how it's so different for each person. What is hard?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting being, I feel like I probably struggle with more than all of you.
You win.
I win. I get to win on this one. You'll win
Okay.
on other things, but I get to win on this one because I have an identical twin. And so comparison is like the way that people, that's how they tell you apart. So it's which one's taller, which one's bigger, which one's smaller, which has a longer face, which one has, so they are comparing you immediately when you're born to figure out, and they're not doing it cruelly. They're just trying to figure out who's who.
Yeah.
And so you're constantly compared growing up. And then they say, which I think is really interesting, as twins, that is the closest thing to having a clone because you get to see yourself kind of in a 360 view of yourself, which
I cannot imagine
exciting
that.
at times and very scary at times. Or you're like, I remember one time we went into to cut our hair off. We both had really long hair. And my sister went first. And about halfway through her haircut, I chickened out. And she went home with a very short haircut. And I went home with a very long hair. Yes, it was so mean. It was so bad. So we've had different times like that. We've done different things and said, nope, I'm good. I'm good. So
you first. It's like, who goes first?
It is. So it's interesting to see that because you can see yourself with 10 pounds more on you, or you can see yourself with longer hair.
Fascinating. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's good and bad. It's got its plus and minuses, but comparison is a real thing. And I think it can be good in terms of motivating you if you see something that you really enjoy and love and you're like, man, I want to do that. But I would say the majority of the time you compare yourself because someone's seeing something better in somebody else, or you're seeing something better in somebody else, and you're going, man, I wish I could be like that, or I wish I could have that, or I wish I could look like that, or I wish I could present myself like that. And so I think from an early age, at least in my own, I'm the quieter twin. She's more outgoing. And so it was the sense of comparing personalities. It's who's the louder twin, and it'd be probably more like you and SeaJay. Where SeaJay's more the louder,
chin.
and you're the
the louder chin.
Yeah,
the louder she is the louder.
I am the louder chin.
Yes, and you're the smarter. No, just kidding.
There you go.
And, no, I'm sorry, that's horrible. And I remember being in my high school years and the Lord really coming and saying, like, you're going to have to learn your identity in me, because if you don't find your identity, you're in trouble. Like, you've got a long life ahead of you. And I thought I was the only one that struggled with comparison. I thought this was my cross to bear, and nobody else struggled with it until I began to meet other women.
Right.
And I realized, like, this is a real thing that everyone else struggles with.
I'm so happy we're talking about this, because I literally last night had a conversation with my 20-year-old about this, who is comparing herself.
Oh, yeah.
And I've always told them, and I just told it last night, and we can obviously talk a little details, but to me, at the heart of comparison is that when you do that, when do you ever win?
Yeah.
Right? When you do that comparison, like, you hardly ever win. So it is a lose-lose thing. And what's worse is that couldn't be more opposite than how God sees.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sees you and what he thinks of you. So it's real. And it's going to be awesome talking about, well, how do we deal with that? Because she is young and she looks at other friends or peers that some are in college, some are doing this, and she's building a little business, and she already feels like a failure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hun, absolutely not, but the only way out really is like what you said, you have to know, what is God saying, what is he doing right now?
Right.
Because that is your measuring stick. That is what grounds you. That's what sets you up to be a winner when you're actually wanting to do the comparison thing. But if you go at it alone, if you just live in that thing, you just never win.
Yeah.
And that to me sounds terrible. It's a terrible place to be, that I'm basically a loser.
Yeah.
Every day. And it's self-inflicted.
It is, absolutely.
That's the thing. It's self-inflicted.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you only really fall into the comparison trap in the areas where you feel insecure. Because if you think about it, like with Emma, she doesn't compare herself in areas she's succeeding. Like what she is building, maybe compared to other people building the same thing. And, it's like we automatically go to the areas that we feel less than. And then the enemy just loves to point those out. Like, I have mine. I have my stuff that makes me feel great. But what do you do when you see the ones that make you feel, ugh?
Yeah.
And how you can focus on that and
Fully.
completely miss the, oh, yeah, but I'm killing it over here.
Right.
Yes.
And all it comes to do, though, is to sow doubt and fear, and makes you want to. I tell them it's like somebody coming and knocking on the door.
Yes.
He comes to knock and see if we will open, because all he wants, is if you can doubt yourself or doubt what God says, who He says you are. If He can, if you open and there's fear, like that's what it comes. Like sometimes you open that door, sometimes you don't. Anyway, we can talk. You've got some nice statistics and things.
I do.
love it, Deborah.
We want to talk about a few areas that comparison, especially as women, that we battle and struggle with. And one of the first areas I want to talk about, which is interesting because we didn't grow up with this, and it's kind of something that we've had to. And we all have daughters. All three of us have daughters, and it is the area of social media, and it is painful. Like I look back, and we compared ourselves to people in youth group or people that in magazines, but we never had social media, and it is really, really hard and painful. And I was looking at a stat, and I would love to know what your thoughts are on this. But there was a study done in the American Psychology Association, and it said that there was a certain percentage of women that compared themselves on social media. And I would love to know, what percentage do you think of women compare themselves on social media?
Like all women, every age.
Yeah.
More than half, for sure. Like,
yeah, I would. The only thing I would think it'd be less than 75% is because the older generation doesn't know how to access their phone.
Correct. Like, yes. That is correct. Like a certain age. Like I'm 51, I would say it's not like my 20-somethings.
Right, exactly.
Do you really know somebody that doesn't?
Right. No, I know. And so here it is, 63% of women. And I would say
the rest are liars.
Yes, the rest are liars. Like, honestly.
Except the really old people.
The really
ones
old
who
people
do not have phones.
Yes. Or they're just looking at people's grandbabies, and they're just like, they're on Facebook.
But even then, I bet they're like,
You're probably
their
right.
grandbabies are better than my grandbabies.
You're right. And they're taking them to Disneyland. And I wish I could take my family to Disneyland. And you know what I mean? Even that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
I think social media it can be very painful. I think it can make you feel, it gives you this standard to live up to, and I find that I can feel like I'm having a really good day. Like I can feel like I'm doing great and life is good, and then I'll hop on social media and I'll be like, man, I want to take my family to Europe for the summer. Like we were having I have a swimming pool and we're having fun, and why am I doing that? Or man, I should get healthy, and man, why I should be going to the gym, and all these things of just struggling with just the standard of, and just the highlights of social media is super painful.
I actually have this thought about social media. Botox is a big thing, lip filler, all the stuff that people get done. And I'm like, I don't feel like that was as big of an issue when there wasn't social media, because unless you were on a TV screen, you didn't notice your friend's wrinkles, or you weren't worried about your wrinkles, because who was going to see it? You only see it in pictures. You only see it, and it only matters when it gets posted. And it's just so interesting that now our lives are run by having to look a certain way. And I'm like, I don't think it would be that way if it wasn't social media.
Yes.
Would we care if we had wrinkles at a family gathering? I don't think we would.
No. In fact, they said it really skyrocketed during COVID because people are on Zooms. And for the first time, they could see themselves every day on film. And so just them looking at themselves every day on camera, it really began to affect people, which is so sad because at the end of the day, it's like we're not allowed to age. We're not allowed to have wrinkles. We're not allowed to really create any realness. It's all so filtered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, save the filters for over 50. Like you see these 20-year-olds and you're like, why are these 20-year-olds wearing filters? Like that's not for them. No, I'm just kidding. But
seriously.
It's like not fair. But yeah, no, it is. It's sad because it takes away the joy, almost the honor of aging.
I saw an article that was about 4 actresses, like well-known actresses that are letting themselves age naturally.
Yeah.
And it was like the biggest news ever. Like, how could they do this?
It's horrible.
Why are they letting their wrinkles show and their gray hair grow out? And I thought, wow, that's the standard, that they shouldn't, that they should hide it, that they should not be proud of aging. I think my granny was the cutest woman ever. And I would have been so sad if she looked all flat and didn't have those wrinkles. You know, like now I did try to help her pull her hairs out that she grew that she couldn't see as she got older. And I sure hope my family, because I mean,
they'll help you.
The wrinkles are fine, but the random black hairs that grow out of your chin, somebody's got to help you with that.
I think the reality, I'll speak for me because I'm aware of my personality and I'm aware of me, that I work pretty hard on remaining content in life and staying connected with the Lord, because I'm aware some of us have tendencies to become, you become addicted to something, whether it's exercise or whatever, you know. So to me, it's, if I can do anything and I'm able to stop and maintain, then I feel I'm in a healthy spot. If I start to think about something and I do something and there is no stop to it, like, because here's the thing, if I start doing certain things to my body, I'm concerned about when will it ever be enough?
Right. Because
it's like you get a little taste of something good and it's a good result and there's, you know, all the things and you feel a little bit good because right from the bat, my motivation probably was not in a healthy spot. So now I taste a little bit and now I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And so to me, it's, for my life personally, a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Unless you are superhuman and you can stop this train that's gaining momentum, you can stop it at any time, because I feel like, sure, we can do anything we want to, I guess, to your body, but how much, you know, where does it come from? What is your heart motivation, your core? Like, are you doing this with the Lord, all the thing? And I don't want to sound super spiritual, but here's the thing. This is what we see. Like, you see older people that are just looking younger and younger and younger. And I'm like, you're 70 years old and you don't look like a grandma. So where is the stop, and where are you as a person going to be happy and content? And so there's certain things that I don't even want to start because I'm aware of that pull. And for me, it's mostly, I experience this in the fitness world. For me, I love fitness. I love working out. I love eating healthy. But SeaJay and I have lots processed about, I'm aware that I can go to a certain level, do a certain thing. And it's just money. I just got to pay money, get the right people, but I know what it would cost me. It would cost me a lot of mental energy. It would cost me time with my family, because I will get so fixated on eating right, going to do this amount of work, focusing on getting to that goal somehow, or that look. Yeah, it's probably a look that I want. But I'm like, for my personality, everybody is going to pay. Sure, I'm going to get there, but they won't see me. Sure, it will cost money, but my mental energy, I will be so focused emotionally and mentally on attaining this goal, and I don't have peace about that. It is not that important to me to sacrifice my time with my family and things. But it doesn't mean it doesn't come at me. I'm also on the phone and look at these people that are my age and do this and look like this. And I know that it costs me something. It costs me work. Like, God, here I am, I'm 51, I work, but I also love being at home. I also love fitness. What do you see? What have you put in front of me? I have to stay connected to that, or I will get on the slippery slope. And I don't know where it would end.
Well, and it's one of those things, I remember my counselor saying, if you see someone winning in one area, there's a loss in another area, always. So if you see someone winning in their work, then they're not going to be winning 100% at home. Like, it's just not going to happen. And so I think when we see people winning or doing really well in their fitness or their health or whatever it is, in that sense of like 100%, if they're spending all their money and energy towards looking a certain way, there are other things they're going to be missing out on or not doing. And I would say even that question of how much time and money are you putting into the outward? Are you putting that much time and energy into the inward? And are you really focusing in on that? And I'm not so much negative against people who want to do things. If they want to do that, that's between them and the Lord. But I would just go back to saying, at the end of the day, we're not here for a season. Like, these are just natural bodies. We're here for a season. These are not eternal. And so to spend the time and energy and finances in order to, it just feels a little bit like sometimes a waste.
True. And what does it bring to your life? Here's the thing. Like, you are doing these things and you look on social media or because are you getting this? Where did this start? And you're doing the things, and sure, maybe you're looking a little bit more like the people that you are comparing yourself with, but what does it add to your life? Like, does it add peace to our lives? Does it add contentment? Are we growing closer to the Lord? Are we better parents? Am I a better wife? Am I better? So I think it's like that thing of everything is permissible, but not all things are beneficial. And that's a question we each have to answer for our own
for ourselves
lives. Yes. So it's like, what is it adding to me? Is it making me better and more wholesome?
And I think
as a person.
Our line as Christians is that we have to walk that line of no judgment, because it is our own personal thing. But if we aren't taking the time to look into ourselves and go, am I aware of why? Am I aware of the pull? And is this benefiting me? I mean, it all, like, we can compare and feel bad about ourselves, or we can compare and judge everyone else. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. Like, look at my wrinkles. Look at my wrinkles are so beautifully deep compared to hers. She doesn't have any. I'm better. Like,
absolutely.
No, that isn't how it works.
It's true.
I remember turning 30, and we didn't really have social media, and I started to get wrinkles around my eyes. And I was like, whoa. I'm 30 and I'm already wrinkling around my eyes. And the Lord spoke to me so clearly and said, you have wrinkles around your eyes because you laugh so easy. And I thought, I'm kind of proud. I do have wrinkly eyes, but I laugh a lot.
You're missing the joy, the seeing of the joy.
Like, they're almost like marks of this person knows how to laugh.
I love that.
And I'm like, but for me, I'm like, I actually don't have any issue with people getting rid of their wrinkles. I don't think it's bad. It's more if you don't want to, you shouldn't have to.
Exactly.
Like, there should be a pause to be able to step back and go, am I okay with who I am?
Yes.
And why am I doing this?
Yeah, and it can be obsessive. And I think that's the thing, is that you're on a conveyor belt. And I don't know if people realize that when they start the process, that you will change one thing and then it goes to another thing and then it goes to another thing, and you will get on a conveyor belt, and all of a sudden you are now going down the road to perfection, which is not really the intention of it all. So I think social media, and I would say one thing, I remember there's a quote that I thought was really good, and it talks about that don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 21. And I think sometimes in our lives we look at, I can get on, I love home design. I can get on social media and they have living in mansions, and it's you're not going to get the apartment, at times with the 3 kids. I lived in 1,000 square foot homes for the first 13 years of my life, and 1 bathroom, rentals, and you didn't get those. You got the big, beautiful, lavish homes,
right?
But I got to stay at home with my kids, and that was the beautiful thing that I chose to do. And so I think sometimes we see the outward level of what we think is perfection, and it's just a picture. It's just a magazine picture. It's not real life. So I think that's really important. Another area that we tend to compare ourselves in is body image, which I think was really rare for women, but I do think men tend to really deal with it. And I'll bring Daniel, my husband, on at some point to talk about this, because I think that will be more appropriate. But yeah, they said, this is really interesting. It says 70% of women age 18 to 30 say they feel worse about their own appearance after looking at images of attractive women in magazines.
Wow.
70% feel worse, which is like, wow. Like this is how it's affecting when you're comparing the way you look to somebody else, and in the visualness of that, how much it affects us and how much it makes us feel like we have to measure up to somebody else. I remember one time I was talking to my twin, of course, and we were talking about something, and she was saying, we were just complaining about probably our weight or something, because that's what you do, at a certain age. And finally she said, I figured it out. I know what we need to do. And I said, what? She goes, I figured out that we're just not tall enough. And I was like, stop right now. I go, there's nothing we can do about that. So if you think that that's the answer to solving our problems about weight, getting taller is not the answer. So, I mean, that's literally what it comes down to. Sometimes it's like, it's just not the answer. You're just not going to be, if you compare yourself to others, you're just never going to be what you want to be.
Yeah.
You have to be content with what God's created you to be.
I will say this, and Erika can attest, because I am mostly pretty confident with my body. I mean, there's definitely, sometimes I find pictures and I'm like, whoa, who put that fat suit on me? Like, I look amazing until that person took that picture of me. But it was a journey. I grew up with a sister who's 9 years older than me, who is naturally at her fattest a size 3. I mean, she's never had a stomach that had a roll on it. Like, it's just flat. It's like she's had 3 kids. She gets all fat with a kid, and then boom, we're back to size 3, skinny as can be. Now she runs like 400 miles a day. So whatever, she gets that.
That doesn't count.
But I grew up, I was just never built like that. I could be a star linebacker. Like, I have shoulders that could run with the greatest football players. Like I'm just built that way. And I had a struggle, obviously. And I had a moment with the Lord that I will forever go back to, and that I pray over young girls when I get the chance. But one day I was at a youth camp as a leader, and we were in worship, and the Lord, it's like I went into a vision. I don't know. It was just me and him in the midst of this worship time. And he walked me through every part of my body. He told me why he gave me the color eyes he did, why my legs were bigger than everybody else, why he gave me the shoulders he gave me, and that none of it was a mistake. And I was so like, really? Because I'm kind of odd shaped. You did that on purpose? He's like, I did it on purpose, and I like it. And it was just that moment of like, wow, I can either continue to be unhappy with the way I'm made, or I can see God's beauty in it. Like, he didn't make a mistake with giving me football shoulders. There's a reason he did. He talked to me about the load I am going to be able to carry compared to maybe other people that can't carry it, because he has prepared me. And I thought, who am I to be upset with who God made? But I mean, not to say it's not a struggle. That's one of the ones for me that I will take the grace that the Lord gave me to walk that out. And I still have days that I feel pretty sad, because in that picture, somebody put 3 rolls on my stomach that went all around like a tire. Like, who did that to me?
I love what I hear you say. Like, I love how the Lord, he will speak to us. We somehow think parts of us is kind of outside of him somehow. We're just running this part of our life like
he doesn't care about your hair.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. Yet he is the God of the universe. Takes this time and will tell you if you want to know, you know. I had a dream recently where he totally spoke to me about me in the dream, and it was something that, and this is not about body, but it was more about
it's about comparison.
Because my personality and, you know, working at this age in the environment we do, we're constantly growing and always trying to be better and all the things. And so you also start to like, oh, I wish I was like SeaJay like that. And it comes from a place, I want to be better. It's not a bad motivation, but however you get in that trap, if you're not connected to what God thinks about you or know. So in the dream, long story short, but it's a high school teacher that I actually really, really admired that prayed for me in my dream. And then I was just feeling the presence of the Lord. And as she was about to move on, she says, I have a word for you. God says that He always wanted you to be weird. He made you the weird one in the room, you know, and like that was His plan. And I woke up and I'm like, oh. And so what was interesting actually is that my connotation with the word weird is pretty negative.
Yeah.
Like I never want to be weird. However, He just told me that He meant for me to be weird.
He made you that way.
And then I actually looked up what it means, what the word weird actually means, and it's completely positive.
Wow.
It's not negative. It's like different, wondrous, like just very, very unique, you know. And here I am. I'm 51, okay? And the Lord has to speak to me in my dreams about, I made you like this. I made you. And so I have to adjust and accept. And anyway, so I'm like, here's the thing. Like, what is the antidote to comparison? How are we going to be okay and get out of it, you know? And Banning preached about this recently, and I thought it was so good. He said that basically what it comes down to, if we are not connected to the Word of God or what God says about us, the way He spoke to you, and like if we do not know what He thinks of us, and we will know when we ask Him. That's the thing. Some of us don't ask. He hides wondrous things from us, not like, you know, He wants us to find it with Him. It's all in the beautiful process. But if we're not connected to that, then there is a void in our lives. And this is what has happened and is happening, is social media, Instagram is stepping in and schooling and discipling our children, us, no matter what age. And because there's a void. Wherever there's a void, it will get filled. And more than ever, we experience society as a whole stepping in and telling people, you feel that feeling, or you have that thought, you are this. And right there, our children and even us are being discipled and schooled by social media instead of being discipled by the Word of God, schooled by the Word of God. So in the end, yes, we do live in a different era and a different time, but God is not surprised by it. So it comes back to that this is our responsibility to, what does the Word of God say? What does He say about me? What does He think about me? Why did He put me here?
Right.
And I talked to my 20-year-old, and I had to tell her, love, there is no shortcut. I cannot do this for you. You have to do the work. You have to ask the questions. You have to listen, because that's the only thing that will tether you, that will keep you grounded in the sea of Instagram and TikTok and all the things. There's nothing that can ground you than the truth. And where do we get the truth?
Yeah, the Word.
The Word of God.
So good. So good. When you say that, I think of the scripture in Jeremiah. It talks about, before I knew you, I formed you in the womb. And I set you apart. And I just think about that these scriptures are things that I had to begin to tell myself over and over in my insecurity, like, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, you didn't make accidents. You made me on purpose. And I'm not going to live in comparison. And I'm not going to measure myself to somebody else. I have my own lane. I have to do my own thing. It will silence me from being who I'm called to be if I compare myself to somebody else. I have to stay in my own lane and do what I'm called to do, or this will silence me and I will sit back and not be who I'm called to be because I'm in comparison. So another area that we're going to just talk about is relationships. A lot of times we look and we see it, we compare our relationships to other people's relationships, whether it's friendships or marriage or dating relationships, whatever it is. Siblings, all that kind of stuff. So
Banning and I had to literally have a "we're okay, right?" moment because we are not like those people that write out like paragraphs about how much you've changed me and you're the best friend of my life and all this stuff for every moment. And I'm all, hey, do you need that? I don't need that, but I do need to know that you love me, right? Like, we're good even though we don't. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't want to put that on social media. I feel like that's for me and you. And not that it's bad that people do, but like, we totally had to have that moment because you start to compare and go like, I'm not sure our relationship is up to snuff because I have not written out a paragraph about how much I love you for the rest of the world to see. Right. So like, I just remember having that moment. Like, I felt relieved. Like, oh good. Okay. Our marriage is still together.
Yes.
Even though we're not posting this stuff. Probably my biggest insecurity that shows up in comparison is in regards to other pastors' wives because I don't fit the mold and I don't like it. And so, but then I see what they're all doing and it's amazing. I don't think it's I think it's amazing. I just am not good at it. Like, one of the things, Jonathan, our youth pastor here, laughs hysterically because one day I posted a picture about a women's night, literally in my pajamas with no makeup on and my hair up. And he goes, I don't think there's anyone else in ministry that would do that. And what hit me, though, was I didn't do that on purpose. I wasn't like, this is so ironic. Look at me. I'm silly to do this.
Being so authentic.
Yeah, no. I was just like, oh, shoot, I got to remind people there's a meeting tonight. It's just on my face, like a selfie. Anyway, I can easily look at that and then look at like what other women are doing that just have all their crap together. And I'm all, Lord, are you sure you want me to do this? Yeah. I'm really good at other stuff. Yeah. Can I just stay in my lane? You know, like
I love that.
But having to be faithful for that I feel like the Lord's put in front of me and where I am, even though it isn't my number one wheelhouse. Like, it is a stretch for me. And I work very hard at what I allow in and who I even connect to because of it. You know, like I'm like, hey, I love real people. I have plenty of friends who love to gush about their husband on social media, and that's great, but I know them. I know that is actually who they are, and so that's great.
Yeah. I do it on Valentine's Day because my husband does it to me, so I have to do it back. Otherwise, I look really mean.
I haven't posted about my husband's birthday in so many years, and he faithfully posts about mine.
Funny. Hey, you know, we're not comparing though, right? No, we're not comparing.
I'm like, he's just the better spouse, and that's okay.
It's true.
I don't know what to say. I'm not good at writing things on social media.
You know, yeah, that's why ChatGPT. Did I say that out loud? I'm so sorry.
I don't know how to do that. You talk about it a lot.
I will show you how. It makes you seem like you're an incredible writer.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure all your lives are changed and you no longer will compare yourself to anyone else.
Solved.
Because we have just given you the answers or just exposed ourselves mostly. But it is true. I think when we live in comparison, we are stealing from ourselves. We're just truly not walking in who God says we are. We are walking in who we say we are, which is usually not lined up with Him. Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you for listening, everyone. And it's going to be a great season of Authentic You.
Hi, ladies. It's Deborah Giles here. I want to remind you about our Jesus Culture School of Leadership. If you are looking for a place to grow in your relational health, grow as a leader, grow in ministry, grow in worship, we have lots of things available for you. So go ahead and take a look online, and applications are available now.